Hello, what's good everybody, for Romanpuss here with the one, the only Kozuki Oden, the brand new unit who's been running amok and destroying in League Battle currently. Now, as always with these guys, if you have not looked over the traits and the skills, I strongly recommend doing so by going in there and looking at your locked characters if you don't have them, or just checking them out if you do have them. So without further ado, let's start taking a look at him. To begin, we're going to start with his stat recommendations. Now, obviously, he's immortal. I will get into that in a minute, but like, just go with attack is the main thing you need. Just make sure you're doing damage. That is your objective. As for attack or defense or HP, I think because he's a flat healer, he's a flat, like straight up flat healer who doesn't heal percent based off his HP. He heals like up to a certain amount, up to 5k on his skill 1. I think you are better off with attack defense. Now, there are a lot of skills that ignore defense in the current meta. Keep that in mind when you're fighting. So if you want to go attack HP, it's not going to be a bad choice, and it's sometimes better up in League Battle. But his HP is a lower stat, so generally attack defense is the better option. Next, let's look at the Oden Pros. What makes him strong? Why is he him? Why is he literally probably top 5, top 10 units in the game right now? That would definitely be number 1 is because he's immortal. For those of you that don't know, he's able to get on any flag, whether it be yours or the enemy teams. He's allowed to survive with 1 HP at all times. It is actually insane. And on top of that, he gets anti-stagger, which means he can just sit there and use his basic attacks and just wail on people, which he has a tremendous amount of damage increase. So he will be whopping out huge amounts of damage. He's basically unkillable unless you're able to get him off the flag. So keep that in mind. So he's immortal. He's never going to die. So you can do however much damage. And if you hit him and knock him off the flag, if you can't hit him before he gets back on the flag, he's just going to sit there and keep being a menace to you and the rest of society. I ain't going to lie. Next up, what else is he going for him? He removes buffs. This is actually disgusting. For certain units, it really kills them, like a Blue Kaido, who takes forever to charge their buffs. But for other units who just get buffs left and right, like year 5, he removes attack buffs and he removes defense buffs. Luckily, it's just specifically those two. I mean, I guess crit and movement speed buffs don't matter that much, but it's kind of nice, and honestly. So when you're fighting a gear 5, you literally can cut through him like butter, and it feels phenomenal. So buff removal is a huge thing and is not to be underestimated in the game, as it will allow you to get many more kills and not die nearly as much. The next one is he inflicts recovery block on his skill 2. He does inflict recovery block. This is helpful for fighting people like Big Mom or units that rely on their healing. Then he has the instant kill, like revivers, which is also on his skill 2. So anyone who can survive with 1 HP trait or comes back alive or anything like that, he's able to instantly kill. So basically, Oden's good at fighting Oden, is what I'm trying to say. So if you're fighting another Oden, you can use your skill 2, and you can actually kill him on the flag. Even though normally he would be immortal, you do have the ability to ignore that trait and kill them. Also, people like Bello Betty, he is also able to destroy things like that. So any units that have that, or Charlotte Cracker, if he were to be on his revive, he would no longer get his revive. Same thing with Hybrid Kaido. The list goes on and on at this point. Next, we have huge amounts of heals. Honestly, it caps out at 5k, but it's insane how much damage both of your skills do. I've been hitting for, I don't know, it's easily 15-20k here without team boost. It's disgusting and outrageous because they're generally buffed units that you're wailing on. Next up is, this is just a perk, not really like the craziest pro that he has going for him, but he's able to remove Shanks' hockey state, which is not just helpful for you, but it's also helpful for your teammates, and it can help you, like, gets rid of Shanks' like anti-stagger and whatnot, so it allows you to fight him and kind of melt him down, so he's not as much of a menace and can help your teammates out if they are unable to, basically if they're blue, pretty much. Also, the last thing, I know he's like got an endless list of strong things. He has high damage reduction when he's below 50%. He also has high damage increase, so I just want to like capitalize on both of those. So when you're below 50%, you do get 50% damage reduction and damage increase, and it becomes a menace. Now keep in mind, I do want to emphasize on the traits. When you are at 100% HP, if you are walking around, you can get one shot easily. Your damage reduction does not kick in unless you get hit while you are 50% or lower on HP. So if I'm at 60% HP, I do not have that damage reduction, which means someone can go and just sit there and one-shot me if I'm not on a flag. Now, if I'm at like 49% or 50% HP, then obviously I get that damage reduction. I could potentially survive. So it's kind of weird, but you could be tankier at 49% HP than you would be at 60% HP. So kind of weird the way that works. So just keep an eye out for that. Next up is our Oden Cons. What are his weaknesses and how do you destroy him? The first things first is you are extremely vulnerable when you are off your flags. You also, depending, I've been using level 80, but when you get to level 100, you'll definitely be tankier with your defense and or HP, so you'll be able to survive a lot more, but just be careful because you are relatively weaker. I think vulnerable is the perfect word. You're just not, you have more to worry about when you're off a flag because there are a lot more people that can one-shot you when you're walking around. So be careful of that. And also, you aren't crazy tanky when you're above 50% HP. This kind of goes back into that thing that I said earlier. Just keep in mind that you can be killed when you are above 50%. You don't have the damage reduction. Be careful and watch out for that. Next up is you're not immune to status effects. So anti-heal that can prevent you from healing. Also, a flame is a big killer because some people will flame you while you're hit and then they'll push you off the flag, and because you're knocked down, even though you're invincible, while you're knocked down, you're still going to die to a flame because that still ticks while you are on the floor. So be careful of that. As well as candy effects, Petrify, Whitebeard's Tremor. He can stack those and push you out the flag, and it's disgusting. And then next, you're also kind of weak to anyone who has that ignore 1 HP traits. So someone like Shiryu, someone like other Odins on their skill 2, someone like King Punch. I don't think you'll run into many King Punches, but you never know. So watch out for those. Now let's talk about the people you counter. So let's just list off a couple. People like Shanks, you can fight. Now Shanks can easily kill you when you're not on a flag, but if you are on a flag and you're able to stay on there, you'll be able to keep getting rid of his hockey state. Just make sure you don't get knocked back. Shanks does have a lot of knockback, so be careful with that. You destroy a lot of defenders, so you can destroy Gear 5s. Like Gear 5's a big one. Like you can melt him like butter and it's disgusting. You are actually meant to shred him. You can fight people like Whitebeard, but I don't want to say you're a counter because Whitebeard can easily kill you if he gets you in a perma-tremor state. So that one's kind of like a 50-50. A lot of other defenders you'll absolutely destroy, so just watch out for that. Blue Kaido can be, even though you can take away his defense buffs, I believe you still heal him a lot because you're a multi-hitter on your basic attack, so just be careful of that and watch out for those. And then pretty much anyone who gets huge buffs, you can destroy. Even people like Albert, you actually annihilate because you don't buff yourself. So he doesn't have anything that specifically kills you besides the flame. And then you can just, even if he perfect dodges you, you still multi-hit, so you can get rid of his invincibility relatively quickly. So that's another one that's up there. If you're looking for an Albert counter, Oden is relatively nice to fight him with. Next, let's talk about Oden Counters. Now, Oden can do large amounts of damage to a variety of units, and you don't inflict status effects. I did want to throw Charlotte Biscuit Boy out there. YouTube doesn't like his actual name, but Big Mom's Sweet Commander, the one who got defeated. He can be problematic because of his Biscuit Soldier. He can use that Biscuit Soldier and he can use it to push you off the flag over and over and over again. Even though you have anti-stagger, you can still try and walk around it, but sometimes it revolves in you getting knocked off the flag, and if Biscuit Boy is able to wail on you with the damage, and he does have ignore damage reduction as well, so be careful of that. The next one is Big Mom can be tricky. If she has both of her skills, she can just spam both of them, and it will knock you off the flag, and she will flame you, and you will potentially die if you are squishy enough. Watch out for that. The next one is Whitebeard's Perma-Tremor. As I said, you can kill Whitebeard, and you can definitely kill Big Mom, especially if you anti-heal her. But you got to watch out if they have all their skills up, because you need to make sure you dodge their skills. Otherwise, you will be destroyed instantly. So if you don't dodge against these two units, you're going to get obliterated. And then next is anyone who can knock you off. Also, I want to add on top of that, Shiryu has the ability to just kill you at any point in time because he has the ignore 1 HP trait. So you will die to Shiryu. I doubt you'll see Shiryus, but people might start busting him out because Oden is actually kind of a menace. So just be careful of that. Next, let's talk about our medal recommendations for him. Since you tend to be immortal, you also have high damage reduction. You have a good amount of damage increase. You don't particularly get any attack buffs or defense buffs or things like that. Honestly, the one thing to go for is just damage increase. That's the one thing you can kind of do. In effect, you can do damage reduction, but it's really not going to help you because you're generally going to be lower for the most part. Damage reductions, I don't think, in my opinion, is going to help you that much or offer you that much. So you can go either skill cooldowns when you're on enemy's flag, or when you get kills, so there is that Shanks medal set down at the bottom if you would like to run that. There is the Katakuri, who offers a little bit of damage reduction with high amounts of damage increase from the Charlotte family tags. Or there's these Luffy medals that give you insane amounts of damage increase on each of those. So there's those event ones that give you damage increase for the color you're strong against, which white being strong against red, blue, and green is actually phenomenal. So just be on the lookout for that. All of those medals can fit really, really, really well. I like this Dressrosa one at the top up, you do get a little bit of heal when you capture a flag, because you generally will kill the person that you're on. So if you can capture that flag, you'll get a little extra 5% heal and put you back up at not 1 HP, which is kind of nice. And then the other two are just damage increase when you're fighting on flags and whatnot. So it goes a long way. So anyways, that is our overall guide for Kozuki Oden. I hope you guys found this useful. And if there's any other tips, tricks, or things that I did not mention, please mention them down below and I will try and add them to my pinned comment. So without further ado, that's all I have for you guys. If you would like, follow, share the video, I would truly appreciate it. And if you want to check out my socials down below, they're just in the description as well. So that's all I have for you guys. I'm Romanpuss. I'm going to be taking off. Yeah, holy! Peace, beautiful people.